watching at home a little bit about the Empty Room Poets.
The Empty Room Poets. Wow. Okay. I guess so. That's who we are. The Empty Room Poets. The Empty Room Poets was a project that was conceived about a year ago as a collaborative effort to put our poetry together to bring to everybody else.
Oh.
We all met when we were doing theater, and then we realized we all wrote poetry. And then Evan, I believe, had the first idea to maybe get together and...
Go, Evan. Go, Evan. It's right there.
I got t-shirts coming out.
And we all get together and, kind of do a compilation of all of our different poetry. And actually, first, I think it was a collaboration between you two, and then you were saying, hey, Tatiana, you wrote poetry. I'm like, hey, cool, I'll jump on the wagon. And
Not a very big wagon. Pretty rickety, too.
But yeah, we just, through our interactions at the theater and working together on a couple of different shows, we realized that we were doing a lot of the same things that seemed to be complementary. And just through hanging around, and the idea just sort of morphed into what it is now, about putting everything together and putting together sort of an omnibus edition of the whole thing, and putting music behind it to try and evoke some more feelings out of it and make it more visceral than it otherwise would be. So it's not exactly multimedia, because we don't have the light show going behind us or anything.
That'll be the live performance.
Yes. Yeah. Or yeah, the editor's cut of the video, please. And it ended up something that we were all really excited about bringing to other people.
So what kind of poetry do you like to write?
I don't. I hate.
Yeah, that stupid emotional crap that they put on paper. What
My
is
wife
that?
makes me. I hate it. But
the type of poetry. I don't think I've ever sat down and try to classify my poetry, what kind.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like science fiction or anything, but.
What we're looking for is actually a poet analyst. So if you know any, that way they can look at it and go, yes, this is a poet.
you need an analyst, but not a poet.
What I need is a CAT scan. But anyway.
Well, no, I mean, you do spoken word stuff. I don't know what you would.
I don't know the different classifications. I know there's different types of meters and stuff, but I whatever fits in my head. I think because of my musical background, a lot of it tends to be more like lyrics in a song, where there's certain sentences or certain parts that rhyme, and there's a general theme that runs through it with sort of a chorus of sorts. I guess you call it lyrical, but I'm not sure what the classifications are. It's just whatever comes out of my head.
It's very hard. We've been working on our Japanese renditions, but it hasn't been coming out too well.
Yeah, the sushi version: one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Yes.
Yeah, that's been really tough, but it's been great for the kids, so they've really enjoyed it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, yes, they have.
No, we kind of all three have different styles, so it's really interesting. I mean, you really get a full combination of poetry stylings, because my form is typically more of like a spoken word, or more of a, well, how would this actually sound when said out loud kind of thing. So I write it more so with a playwriting background, with a complete storytelling background. Whereas again, two counterparts here are just, they're very, very different. But I think we all agree.
She's more different than I am.
Well, yeah, that's true. But yeah, we all appreciate each other's stylings, though, which is really, really great and really, really cool. And it really helps to create really good art when we especially connect together to create a single poem as a group piece. I don't know about you two, what you want to
Yeah,
describe?
I'd say mine is a little bit more visual. I tend to put a lot of words in there that have been described before as visceral. I think I said that before in another thing. But just kind of, because I think in images, and so I try to get that on paper and put that into the actual words themselves. And so mine are very kind of, out of the two of you, I have like the short poems, and it's like boom, 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 and we're done. And then I like read out all of yours, and it's like, oh, should I add more? Oh my god, okay, hold on, I think I need 3 more stanzas here. Yeah. So.
Okay, so what inspires you?
Writing in Japanese.
Bad stuff, good stuff.
Life.
Margaritas.
I think I would say for me it's really just the extremes of emotion. When I'm extremely happy, I'm often so busy being happy that I don't sit down and write a poem. But when I do, that comes out much easier. Like the words come out easier when I'm like overjoyed by something. And on the flip side, when I'm in agony and distress, that's also kind of what inspires me personally. It's mostly just those two.
And I think to go along with that too, I mean, art is supposed to be very cathartic. And if you're not going through an extreme, you really don't hear many people going, well, I'm having a very average day today. Let me write about this. It usually is like one extreme or the other. It's like, I'm incredibly excited about this, or, this was the worst thing that happened to me in my life. Let me try to figure out a way of coming to grips with it. And, it really helps the writer, the artist. I think that's why we do art, is to help the individual more so than anything else. And if other people can get something from it, then great. And really incorporate it into their lives, then that's the best thing that can happen. But yeah, I agree with Tatiana that it's usually, some kind of situation that happens, or some kind of emotion that kind of sweeps you away. You want to figure out a way of
Processing.
yeah.
Processing what just happened to you, what's been going on for the last 3 years, and oh my god, this is horrible. How do I deal with that? How do I process that emotionally and mentally in order to make it easier to move on, to get past it, to continue living? And I don't know about you guys, because you're both independently wealthy. I don't do it for, and it's not people generally don't write for, or paint, or make music, unless you've been recruited into a boy band or something.
You write poetry?
Yeah, you do it for yourself, to help yourself process the feelings and heal whatever happened.
Okay, so do you have any poets or writers that you individually admire?
Evan.
Good question.
Wow, that's nice.
I don't read a lot of poetry.
Yeah, me
Interesting.
I don't. I mean, I've quoted Dr. Seuss a lot, like I think everybody else, but I don't. I'm not sure if I don't like to be influenced by them.
Interesting.
I did a lot when I was younger, but not so much now, where I try to write my own, and I don't like to become influenced by that a lot. It becomes very obvious after a while that you are just mimicking somebody else, and it ends up seeming forced to me anyway.
Interesting.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, on my end, like, I appreciate all poets, ranging from Frost to Bukowski, but I...
Oh my god.
but At the same time, though, I think for me, I just started writing just to write. It wasn't because I read poetry to begin with, or because a specific poet inspired me. It was just the fact of, okay, I want to try to describe how I feel, and this just comes naturally, or more naturally than other methods. And it just felt better to do it in a written format. And you know, after a while of writing, people, like for me, started saying, well, this is poetry, you know, this is what, you know, poetry is, you know, you write poetry. And it's like, okay, well then I will write poetry. But either way, I just want to find a format that I can express myself in, or express how I feel, but maybe in more symbolic terms. You know, how can I turn an emotion into a physical object through words or things like that, and how can I play an experiment to fully explain the whatever issue I'm facing at the time, you know, what I see in my mind's eye, how do I try to display that to the fullest? And so it's always just come out in written format, and so, okay, categorize it as poetry, that's great, but you know, to me, it's just expression, it feels right, so it's something that I do.
What was the question again?
Again, my poetry's like this long, hers is like this long, and then...
What poets or writers do you admire?
Oh, yeah, no. Back to what Mark said, I don't really read a lot of poetry. I would say that before we started this project, I read Evan's and another friend of mine's, Andre's, and I just love both of their poetry. But as for like, I guess famous poets or dead poets or whichever, I haven't really ever really read poetry. I tried to write a short story once and figured out that poetry's better because I write so condensed that I usually get the message that I want across very, very shortly. But yeah, I don't actually read it.
Besides poetry, what else do you three like to do?
Nothing. Nothing. As soon as the camera goes off, the switch is set.
Usually I'm sitting in front of TV watching NASCAR.
A bucket of ice cream. And a six-pack of Bud. Yeah.
They make a good combo too.
Hold my beer while I try this. Yeah.
Hang on 1 minute. Another left turn.
Woo! Oh boy, and I just watched that all day.
Just have it.
Yeah,
I don't want to speak for us, but like originally the three of us met through theater. So whether it was in a director-actor or actor-actor capacity of some sort and so forth, like we've all kind of intertwined through that. And like for me, I love acting, I love directing, love writing in general, so not just poetry, but plays, stories, articles, you name it, you know, I'll jump onto it. I love getting immersed into that. And then of course, you know, you have the fun day job that you have to do to get money and pay bills and, you know, all those other fun little things.
You have a fun day job?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's hurtful.
What do you two guys do? I don't know. We've never really met or talked, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're sort of one of those put together boy band kind of things. You know?
You guys are made in a room.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy
It was
Levine just
literally
came to
an
us and like,
empty
hey, you
room.
guys would be great together.
That's right. That's right. And it works out really well. Yeah, and actually, I make a lot of music. But I know these two will make me famous, and I will be able to quit my fun day job and have a grueling existence as a professional poet. And you know, in that instance, you know, I will just sit in the pretty back gardens and write the rest of my days away. No, that ain't happening.
Under a parasol.
Yeah, that's me. That's
I can
me.
see that.
Yeah, I might join the Jane Austen Society. The Daughters of the American Revolution.
You got the lovely hair for it.
I could braid it for you.
The periods of time that writing actually occurs, because this is not a profession, you have to fit in. And I think you guys are the same, but you fit it in when the inspiration happens. Like a lot of things, I have to do this right now. I'll be back. I have to. I've got to write this right now. And you get a thought in your head, and you go with it, and you stick with it till it's done.
Well, I agree completely with that. It just kind of hits you and you jump onto it. I think it becomes too commercialized when you say, okay, I have to sit down and write something. I don't know what to write, but I'm just going to hammer something out just to put it out. Because then it's for the sake of, what do I want to call it? It's like fast food poetry at that point. It's just something to quickly sate an appetite, but that's about it. But you're still left like very unfulfilled and so forth, but from both the writer's perspective as well as the reader's perspective or the listener's perspective. And I will like a rough quote, this isn't the exact quote from Hemingway, but he basically said that, writing is easy enough, you just bleed onto the paper, and that's all you really do. So again, you just need to bleed onto the paper, you need to let the emotion out. But other than that, why really write and force it when it's supposed to be something that is personal? At least to us, poetry is very personal, and we're not just going to talk about a leaf for 15 minutes unless for some reason that leaf really touched us in some weird manner. And
I probably paid for it. Yeah.
Some very inappropriate manner that leaf looked at me. And,
Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
The veining of the leaf. So, again.
What's the question again? I lost
What
track
else do
again.
you like to do?
Oh, that's right. What else do we like to do?
But no, like.
You're talking about leaves.
And the whole conversation just took a left.
But it felt so right.
That's all right.
That sounded like a really bad Monty Python skit. Fast food poetry. You see, I'm having a really bad day, and I yell at my wife, "Can I have a pound and bring home, please, with a side of fries?" It's such a really bad Monty Python skit.
I'm so sorry for the bad day. I feel like I am just simply made out of clay. Mold me and do as you will. Okay.
Keep
What's
that
the
fun
question?
Keep that fun.
You're gonna put that in the book, fast food poetry.
Oh, it'll
I
happen.
think I've heard you say that before.
Fast food poetry, I like that. That's a good term. Tatiana, what do you like to do?
Besides wait for us to stop talking.
You've been so good. Go.
I really love watching movies. I watch movies, I watch marathons of TV shows on Hulu. I read books, but I prefer books that are like trilogies or sixologies or Harry Potter is trilogies. I like to read a book. I read pretty fast, and so I just run through the books, and I love like long storylines that go on forever, which is ironic because my poetry is so short.
She's weird.
But you gotta fill in the time you have left. It's like you're
guess
done the
so,
poem.
Exactly.
Now
What to do?
Yeah.
trilogy.
So, I mean, like we did make through theater, so I really love directing. And, I do that sometimes too. That's all I got. That was the question.
So back to thermodynamic physics.
Leaves on winds. Leaves.
Create heat through the friction on the wind, and therefore we have global warming. Thank you.
You heard it. That's exactly how it happens.
I'm running for president next year.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have a message for the people watching at home?
Don't do drugs. Don't drink and drive. Hug your children.
Try the veal. Don't forget to tip your waitresses. We'll be here all week.
No, I mean, besides, hey, check us out, look at our information, just learn more about us. If you like us, great. We love the support. Let us know what you think.
Buy the book. Buy the book. Buy the CD. Please have some more. We're starving artists. We're broke. We have children and mortgages and pets, and
we have children we don't even know about that we have to
they
support.
show up. They just show up. I don't know who they are. They just came for lunch. I have no idea what they're doing here.
Raided the fridge. It was
but for real,
awesome.
for real.
No, definitely. Please buy the book. Really, I mean, the concept is not only, though, like I said, just to like help us, get our emotions out there, but also hopefully give back and let people understand, like, oh wow, I'm not the only person going through this type of situation, and utilize it as a coping mechanism. And again, it's also to help support the arts. We've gotten so commercialized lately with the arts and so forth that, again, we just want to, I mean, even though we are selling a book and it's
Sponsored by Goodyear.
I did have a
very
Nike shirt earlier on, but
It's very
Looks like a
commercial.
Nickelodeon shirt.
but in the end though, it really is all about the art. And again, we don't fit the bill of your typical poet, as it's now been created, or your typical type of poetry. And we just want to be expressive, and we want to again, put out really good art that people can enjoy in one format or another, and I guess continue that process of still putting out modern art. I mean, we look at people like Frost, like Bukowski, people from 50s, 60s, 70s, and so forth, but you don't really. I bet there's you talk to anyone walking on the street, and they can't name 5 current playwrights, 5 current authors. 5 current, anything right now that has to do with art. And it's absolutely amazing because, say 100 years ago, you could do that for the most part. And we've been so reliant on other forms of media and just having it be force-fed down onto us instead of forcing us to think, that we don't have to worry about that anymore. People nowadays, too, have their favorite movies, but they can't tell you who the director is a lot of times. Unless there's a bunch of explosions and boobs, and it's Michael Bay. But
Sorry, who?
well, I heard boobs in that one. But other than that, it's like you can't list off people and their art and what they do.
On the head. Everything is so watered down now. As good and wonderful a medium as the internet is, which I invented, by the way. No, was that Bob Dole? Who was that? I don't know.
It was Gore.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's become so watered down that it is really hard to find good things. Most people who think that they like the arts spend an hour and a half a day watching funny kitten videos on YouTube.
I did that too.
Yeah. I did that last night.
And this is art, but I think what we have tried to do maybe we didn't set out that way, but in a roundabout way, the cathartic nature of poetry and putting words on paper was good for us. It helped us. Some of them are kind of new, some of them are 30 years old, not in their instance.
I wrote mine in the womb. I don't know what you're doing.
You're good. So, and it worked then. It worked for us then, but it has also helped us grow as people, where we have found that we can help other people too, because it does reach a connection with some people. Not everybody's going to like everything that I do or that Tatiana does or Evan does. They might only like 1 or 2 of them, but if something in it strikes a chord with you, then we did our work. That's what art is supposed to be. It's supposed to make you feel something. Lead, follow, get out of the way, hate me, love me, throw bricks at me, but you will respond. And if you respond, then I did my job.
That's a good point. You guys want to follow up with that?
I think-
yeah, right? You guys want to follow up with that?
I'm just saying, just support local artists. You never know who's a poet, who's a writer, who's an actor, who's in anything. Just the amounts of people that I've met through all of the creative arts endeavors that I've pursued. Just, it's, you don't know it's the person sitting next to you on the bus. It's, it's your boss. It's it's your mailman. It's just, it's unbelievable. There are so many artists out there, and I mean, we're all about supporting local artists, and yes, buy our book, but buy other books too, and really take an interest in your own community and see what's out there. Is one message I would say. You can see why our poetry is the way it is. Because I'm like long philosophical discourses. I'm like,
Wow, we are messed up, man.
Here you.
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And for more information, please go to Empty Room Poets.
.wordpress.com.
And cut.